Hello.
Hi, Vikas. Good morning.
Very good morning, sir.
Hi Vikas, good morning. Hobby here.
Very good morning. I'm doing good. Hope all of you are fine, doing well.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes. So I think we can start now. We are morning, sir.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm doing good, sir.
Hey, Vikas. Good morning.
Yes. So we are live on. Yes, we are live on Zoom as well as YouTube live.
Great. Super. So,
Okay.
Vikas, you can set the context. I will give an introduction about
Sure.
Gravitasq,
Sure.
and then we get started.
Right, sir. Okay. So first of all, welcome to all. Uh, uh, is it echoing?
No, it's fine.
It's good, Vikas.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for joining today's session. It will be the topic. A topic, as you know, it is positive thinking and key to success. Being a job seeker, when I was a fresher, I have seen that when I was searching for a job, that time what was happening, like there was a thing which was missing. That was a guidance, and that was really important. And what I feel currently in today's time, I meet a lot of students or the job seekers, and they are failing to understand, or they are not getting motivated how they should do it, what they should do it, how they can get the success. A lot of things are there which are not helping them. I mean to say, like, they are not understanding what they should do to get a good to start with the good career. And that's what we are trying to help people through these kind of sessions. So we have today Mr. Hobby Menon, and I would like to thank Gravitas Stories for giving this opportunity for all our students, for arranging this session. So on behalf of Vibrant Minds Technologies, I would like to thank you, Aloysius sir, Mr. Hobby, and whole Gravitas team for this wonderful session. Okay, so I'll not take much time, sir. Students are eager to go ahead and listen from, or they want to get the knowledge. Of course, that will be helpful for all students. So I'll hand it over to Aloysius sir. Sir, please take control and give
Thanks, Vikas.
a success mantra to our students today. Right?
Thanks, Vikas.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the lovely introduction. You've always been a friend, and I know that you always help students in whatever possible ways you can. So, good morning, friends, students, colleagues. My name is Aloysius Dominic. I am the managing director of Gravitas Stories. Just to give you a brief about Gravitas Stories, I'll just wind it up in a minute. So Gravitas Stories is a creative powerhouse. We do content, we do design, all kind of design. We do 2D, 3D animation. We do e-learning solutioning. That's in short about what we do. As part of a CSR activities of Gravitas Stories, this is the first venture that we have done to help the students in whatever way we can. Apart from giving them employment, we thought of helping them gain some knowledge that we have gained. I have 25 years of experience. So whatever experience I have gained, my colleague Hobby has gained, we want to give it back in some way or the other to the students so that they can uh, get some help out of it. Okay. I'll be sharing my personal LinkedIn profile link on this chat. Along with that, I will also share the link of Gravitas Stories. Please follow us, because what we are going to do is every 15 days, we are going to have one such session. We are going to do it for different colleges, pan India, and we would want all the students to benefit from it. Right now, we are doing it for all the students of Vibrant Mind Technologies, but we would want to extend that to all the students possible in the country. Uh, so let me give you a brief introduction about Hobby. Hobby is a old friend and a colleague now, and tremendous personality. Is a very positive person by nature. Uh, I have never seen him frowning or getting angry. He's that kind of person, always laughing, smiling, and that kind of helps people around him. So I want you to benefit from this. Just one request: all of you can put yourself on mute and switch off your camera. Uh, have a pen or a paper handy and a paper as well, because there's something that Hobby will tell you to do, and we will have 4 5 students who we will ask randomly to show what they have done. A small task for a minute or two, and basis that, Hobby will give you some inputs. All right. So the format of this session would be: we would start with Hobby giving you some information about things, and then we would wind it up by a question answer sessions. There are a lot of people there on the session, on the Zoom session, as well as on YouTube live. So we will pick up as many questions as possible. So whenever you have any questions, please keep posting them on the YouTube link chat option, and also on the Zoom link, people who are on Zoom. All right. So not wasting any more time, over to you, Hobby. All the best.
Thank you, Aloysius, for the kind words and the introduction. I hope my voice is loud and clear. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, so to start off, let me set the context. Like Aloysius mentioned, I've been working for close to 20 years now, and around 15 years has been with training, learning and development, organizational development. I've been a professor. I've worked with a university, looking after placements, corporate outreach. So I have a fair bit of idea of you know this whole corporate campus to corporate thing that has become a big fad today. So to start with, I would like to share a lot of my observations about how things are, hoping that you are able to glean or get something of value out of all these observations that I'm making. Now, I'm fairly comfortable speaking in English. If you want, we can probably have a bit of it in Hindi, a bit of it in Marathi. I'm comfortable with that as well. So you should let me know. And okay. So I believe the information that has been shared with you, we're going to look at this talk in 3 phases, right? The first phase is probably going to be moving from a campus lifestyle to the corporate lifestyle. What are the differences, and what is it that is the key for you to successfully manage the transition, right? So the first thing that I want you guys to look at is the differences, the major differences between how life is when you're a student and how life will be when you actually join the corporate world. the first major thing that you will notice is that there's going to be a tremendous change in your lifestyle, right? So as a student today, you're not bothered with, a lot of things. You can be carefree. You own your time. You can bunk lectures. You can, go out for trips. You can have fun with your friends. You can go to the katta every day. You can probably watch movies. So there's a lot of carefree abandon with which you can live your life. So when you actually start looking for a job and you want to transition from being a student, now that you've graduated, you have a degree, and now you're looking at starting work, succeeding, and growing in the role, a lot of people miss out on success, basically because their mindsets are still like they were like they're students. So I've been a part of HR as well, so I know why I'm saying this. When we interview people, there's a lot of things that we try to evaluate in the student. I'm sure everybody here is given some kind of psychometric assessments. You've been put through a lot of behavioral event interviewing questions, where the HR is trying to evaluate if you're a long-term proposition, if you're going to be a stable employee, if you're going to be with the organization for a long time, are you trustworthy, are you loyal, can they bank on you, a lot of these factors. So they build questions in such a way that they're able to evaluate whether or not you fit these stereotypes that they have. So the first major thing that you must do when you move from a campus to a corporate life, I'm sure that all of you guys have given a lot of interviews. Some of them are probably, some of you guys have probably cracked interviews and landed a job. Some of you guys have probably, unfortunately not been able to clear the interviews and are probably worried and depressed that, things are not working out. But there's no need to be depressed. I'll come to all of this. The, the first thing that you all should do is when you're moving from campus to corporate is to probably account for all the lifestyle changes that are going to affect your future, right? So what are the kind of lifestyle changes that I'm talking about? When you start working, there is a minimum expectation from the organization that you will spend a certain amount of time working for the organization because they're paying you a salary, right? So it could be 8 hours, it could be 9 hours, it could be 10 hours. In most industries, and especially in India, the concept of hard work is most people evaluate you in terms of how much time you spend in the office. So if you have a 9 to 5 job and you work from 9 to 8 o'clock in the night, then you're considered to be a hard worker and a good employee. But if you leave the office at 5 o'clock dot, okay, a lot of managers will probably tell you that why are you not staying back, you're not sincere, etc., 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 which is wrong. I believe that most people who log in at 9 and leave at 5 are probably doing their job spot on. They're very, very productive. They're in on time and they're out on time. And the people who stretch and people who stay till 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock are not very productive. So I'm not going to get into details. I'm just telling you how people perceive uh, the employees. So when you're making a lifestyle change, you need to understand that you will now be expected to behave more responsibly, which means that you will need to make adjustments to the campus lifestyle that you had, the carefree abandon, going for movies, chilling out at the katta, meeting your friends, going for drives and all that. You will need to compromise all that. On a work day, you will have to ensure that 8 hours, 9 hours of your time is accounted in terms of work. So you will need to project that in the interview. You will need to show that to the interviewer that you are willing to take responsibilities and that you are somebody they can trust. Number one. So it's very easy to say all this, but how do you do this? There has to be a change in your attitude. There has to be a change in your behavior, right? There are quite a few things that you will need to change. Now in college, I'm sure that when you have conversations with your teacher, with your peers, with your colleagues, you can be very casual, you can be, you know forgive me for saying this, but generally you can use swear words, and you can be very um, you know I can't find the right word, but like I said, you can just be yourself, right? But in the corporate world, you need to be a little more measured. So you need to think before you say anything. So most of your conversations need to be measured. Attitudinally, you cannot express, and I'm sorry to say this, but I'm being very honest and candid, but you need to be very, very diplomatic. So even if you don't like a person, you should not be telling him on the face that I don't like you. Okay. You should probably convey what you feel, but you should package it in a way that it doesn't hurt the person or doesn't make the person feel bad. So diplomacy is something that you will need to adopt in your behavior. You will need to be polite. You will need to accommodate views of other people, which means that you cannot say कि यही सही है और आप जो बोल रहे हैं वो गलत है. You will have to make those minor adjustments in your behavior, in your attitude. Okay, so two things that we've looked at. One is, when it comes to lifestyle changes, you need to be mentally prepared to dedicate 8, 9, 10 hours of your daily time to work. Number one. Number two is behavior, attitude, adjustments that you need to make. So you need to be more diplomatic, you need to be more polite, you need to be more accommodating, right? The third most important thing is how you would look at time. Now, it's a very typical Indian trait. Uh, if I give you a time of 9:30, I've noticed that typically most of us as Indians, it's a cultural thing. We'll probably start from home at 9:30, and arrive at the meeting or at for this particular engagement that you have 15-20 minutes late, and it's supposed to be acceptable behavior. It is not. Okay. It is fine for you to do that to your friends in college, where you say, मैं आपको 10 बजे मिलूंगा, and you reach there at 10:30. That's fine when it was your campus thing. But in the corporate world, it is not done. Time is money. So for example, today our meeting was supposed to start at 9:30, but by the time we started, it was 9:45. Okay, I'm not criticizing, I'm just pointing out that this is a major adjustment that you will need to make in your lifestyle. And whatever you do, you need to account for things like time is money. So if you say 9:30, you made a commitment, you should be there before 9:30, and the meeting should kick off at 9:30. This will make a tremendous difference, and you will see that this is a major factor which actually helps in you succeeding in the corporate world. Okay. Schedule adherence, right? If you don't meet your targets, there are a lot of industries, a lot of jobs where if you don't meet your deadlines, you're penalized, which means that there is a loss in terms of money, there is a loss in terms of effort, and there is a loss in terms of time. So it is frowned upon, and it is something that you need to account for right now. If you make these changes right now, you will probably have a smooth riding. Another thing that is very, very important, like I said, you need to start thinking like, I'm sure everybody here, most of us Indians love cricket. So if you have to look at, when I say team, you need to be a team player. You understand what I'm saying, right? So there will be times when you will need to stand up for a colleague, go that extra mile to cover up because he's got some problem. Okay. There will be things that you would probably need to take a download from your boss. Your boss will be very, very harsh with you. He will probably say things criticizing you. He will question your dedication. He will question your character. What will make a difference is how you take that, your attitude when it comes to taking feedback. Okay. So you will need to ensure that everything that you do in the workplace is done diplomatically, is done taking into account that you need to project a very clear uh, intent that you're willing to learn and you're very open to feedback. Generally, in interviews, they will try to evaluate. There's something known as stress interviews where I will put you under, like I call you at 10 o'clock and I will make you wait till 1 o'clock just to see how you react. And if you react, I know that, okay, temperament wise, this person is not a right fit for this particular job. So there are a lot of things that companies will do to evaluate your temperament. So you need to be prepared for all this, right? The fourth most important thing is soft skills. Now, unfortunately, in our country, when it comes to education, they teach you a lot of technical things. Like, if you're a mechanical engineer, they teach you a lot of things about mechanical engineering. Those are hard skills, right? There is no emphasis on preparing you for working in an organization, working with people, leading a team, communication. There's no emphasis on these skills. But if you actually look at the corporate world, they want to ensure that your soft skills are spot on. So if you start putting in an effort right now, you will start seeing the difference in how people perceive you, in how people notice. Okay, see, what is going to be a major differentiator for all of you is there are thousands of mechanical engineers who pass out uh, every year. There are thousands of software engineers. There are thousands of people who pass out in commerce, in BCom, MCom, whatever it is. But what is going to be the differentiator? Why will an organization hire you from the pool of 10,000 people that they have access to? It is going to be your soft skills. And what are soft skills? Soft skills are simple things like how you communicate, leadership, time management, how you manage your stress, how you manage conflicts, right? What is your persona? There's a very popular term in India, they call it personality development, which is wrong. You cannot develop a personality. What you can do, obviously, is work on your persona and ensure that your soft skills are spot on. So it's very important for you to ensure that some of these soft skills are adequately worked upon and that you're able to project these when you go for interviews. So I believe the first part of our conversation is where we're looking at what are the differences and adjustments that you need to make when you start looking at a major uh, change in your lifestyle, when you're moving from being a student, a graduate student, to becoming an entry level fresher who then will, gradually, with a lot of hard work, with a lot of dedication, with a lot of due diligence, grow into whatever careers that you visualized for yourself. So you need to make lifestyle changes. Then there needs to be change in your attitude, in your behaviors. You need to incorporate soft skills. You need to respect time and schedules. You need to be very, very open to feedback, which means that your boss says something, you should be able to take it whether you like it or you do not like it. You should be able to treat your colleagues very well, etc., etc., etc. And the last and most important thing is work-life balance. Okay, I know it's very critical for you guys when it comes to careers. Most of us Indians live life um, in a very single dimension. I know a lot of people who do not know what to do on their day off. They're so focused on their work that their life revolves around it. And sooner or later, because of all the stress that it entails, they have blood pressure, they have sugar, they have a lot of lifestyle related diseases. And that's not a very good thing to do, because in the long run, you're spending a lot more on medicines, and you know it's not a healthy thing. So even before you start your innings in the corporate world, I would say that it's very important. Work is work. Yes, you should respect work. Work will give you money. um, money will ensure that some of your dreams are met and all that. It's at a very materialistic physical level, but it is very important for you to be very happy at the emotional and at the mental level. So to be happy at the emotional and mental level, you need to ensure that there is work-life balance, which means that when you work for 9 hours, you work with a lot of passion, but after the 9 hours, you should be able to switch off and do something that you like. So you may like to paint, ensure that you give it time. You may like to play the guitar, ensure that you give it time. You may like to spend time with your family, with your girlfriend, boyfriend. You may like to spend time with your friends. You would want to probably catch up on movies. You should ensure that on a daily basis you do some of these small things for a certain amount of time as well, because if there is work life balance, you will be in a happy place, and if you're in a happy place, your productivity at work is going to be more than 100%. Okay, and you will last longer. So today, if you only take stress and keep working, keep working, keep working, in 10 years you might just collapse and die, which is not worth it. you know when you die, you should not feel like, यार मैं तो सिर्फ काम करते रह गया यार, मैं जितने जितनी चीजों के लिए मैंने मेहनत करी थी वो मैं पहुंच ही नहीं पाया वहां तक. So that should not happen. So it typically means that I should not visualize too far ahead in the future. I should also live in the present, which means I will work for the 8 9 hours that I work, but after that, when I switch off, I will ensure that I do justice to my own interests, my hobbies, my things that make me happy. Right? So work life balance. So these are some things that you need to consider. Now, to consider work life balance, I said there is something that you need to do for your own self. Now, how many of us actually know? आप लोग में से कितने लोग जानते हो कि आप एक्चुअली हो क्या? Do you is there something? I believe Adarsh, is there something you want to say? Okay. So it's very important for us to know who we really are. How do we find out? I don't know. So like Aloysius mentioned, there's a small activity that I probably want you guys to do. I believe okay. Ajinkya, I will answer your question at the end of the session, if that's all right. So what you can do is maybe note your questions. Okay, we'll take it up at the end of the session, if that's fine. So I believe everybody has a pen and a paper.
So they are student and they are weapons. Pen and paper is a weapon for all students, so they always carry.
Okay,
So I am sure that they must have.
हाँ, वो पहले बोला भी है ना कि
Yes.
pen is mightier than the sword.
Yes, sir, yes.
ठीक है. So
Thank you.
now I want every one of you for a couple of minutes, okay? आप लोग सबको मेरे को पता है nature बहुत पसंद है. See, all the great inventions in the world have been inspired by natural things, the natural order of things. Okay? अभी ये कोरोना ने भी हमको यही सिखाया है कि हम कितना मतलब the kind of damage that we're doing to our earth, to Mother Earth, to the environment, to the ecosystem is now coming back to bite us. There are wildfires and there's so much happening in the world, cyclones and hurricanes, seasons are changing. So, I mean, that's a very depressing outlook. What I want you to do is for a minute, close your eyes, okay, and visualize your favorite tree. Okay. Now, before you do that, let me give you a brief. What is it that I mean when I say tree? So it could be a tree that actually exists. So there may be people who love mangoes and love the mango tree. There may be people who love the palm tree, the coconut tree. There may be people who love, the banyan tree. Multiple trees that you've seen. So आपके गांव में होगा, जो आपके घर के आंगन में होगा, आपके balcony से नजर आता होगा. But I'm sure that everybody here knows what a tree looks like, right? So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to visualize a tree. So it could be your favorite tree that actually exists, or it could be a tree that exists in your fantasy. which means कि आंख बंद करके आपने विजुलाइज किया तो आपको मनी ट्री दिखा, मतलब फलों के जगह पे यू आर सीइंग नोट्स dangling. That is also possible. Okay, you could probably visualize a tree that is full of lights, so there are no limitations. Okay, but I want you to close your eyes for a minute. ठीक है, अपने अंतकरण में झांकिए, visualize a tree. Okay, and I want you to draw that tree on the paper. So can I give you 2-3 minutes to do this? You can type your questions in the chat if you have any questions, if you need any clarity on what I've said. You can type your question in the chat. Otherwise, please close your eyes, visualize for a minute, 60 seconds, and then draw the tree probably in the next 2 minutes. So I'll connect with you at 10:14. This is exactly 3 minutes. So are we done? Do you need more time? Okay, so probably for the people who have finished, uh, maybe you can, start your video and just hold up the piece of paper so that I can see the tree that you've drawn, if that's all right. Just briefly, so that we know that most people have probably still working on it. But the ones who've completed can probably hold up and show us the tree that they've drawn. Dilip has a question.
Thanks, Gayatri. We've seen the drawing of the tree. Thanks.
Okay.
Anyone else who wants to show what they have done? Just switch on your camera without switching on your audio and show us the picture that you've drawn. We are not going to judge you on what you have drawn.
And we're not going to give any awards also. So
Sir, one thing I would like to mention. So this is also one of the problems students think or maybe feel, or I don't know. So the hesitation is a little bit. They feel that what will others say or they will think, right? So guys, please
thanks,
feel free.
Dipali. Thanks, Prabha. Thanks, Ankita. Thanks, Shubham. Thanks, Rohit, Sanket, Shreyas, Sushmita, Poonam, Tanushri, Rohini, Ranjit.
okay.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We've got Poonam, Pranav.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
अपना एक छोटा सा प्राइवेट जंगल बन जाएगा इतने मतलब we have so many trees by now. So like Vikas sir just said, the fear of being judged and the fear of what people will say, you don't need to worry about. अगर ये सोच के आप अपने अंदर वो डर पैदा रखोगे तो it is not, you should not worry about these things. लोग जो कहना चाहेंगे वो they will say it any which way, so you should not worry. Okay, and we're not judging you, we've told you that. So I'm seeing the output and I'm pretty happy with the trees that you've made. Okay, अब सवाल ये है कि most of you guys have thought about this particular tree, you visualized it and you've drawn it. Okay, I want you to look at your own tree and tell me how many of us have drawn the roots. I'm sure that there are quite a few number of people जिन्होंने पेड़ तो बना दिया but roots नहीं बनाए. Am I right? Good.
Thanks, Shubham. Shubham has drawn the tree. Priyanka also has the roots.
Okay.
So there are people who have drawn the roots.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Sir, I drew for roots and mangoes, a leaf.
That's good. That's good, Dipali. And for the people who've not drawn the roots also, there is nothing wrong. I'm not saying कि आप लोग ने कोई गलती करी है, okay? But the learning is for us, you think about it, okay? Because we cannot see the roots. Normally, when you see a tree, you cannot see the roots, right? The roots are below the ground. You can only see what is above the ground. So for us, the learning is that generally, when we visualize things, we only see things that are above the ground. Why am I saying that the roots are important? What is it that gives the tree strength? What is it that holds the tree? What is it that gets the tree nourishment? वो जो पेड़ है उसका पूरा एग्जिस्टेंस या उसका जो वर्चस्व है वो कैसे बनता है? रूट्स के वजह से बनता है, लेकिन रूट्स जमीन के नीचे होते हैं, नजर नहीं आते हैं। तो इसलिए नजर नहीं आते हैं तो हम उस पर ध्यान नहीं देते हैं। तो नाउ आई वांट यू गाइज टू थिंक हमारी जो सोच है उसको आप नॉर्मल जो हमारी सोच है उसको आप साइड में रखिए, ठीक है? एंड नाउ आई एम टेलिंग यू, इवेल्युएट हाउ यू थिंक। ओके, जैसे हमने ये पेड़ का अभी किया, कुछ लोगों ने रूट्स बनाए, कुछ लोगों ने नहीं बनाए। जिन लोगों ने नहीं बनाए वो इसलिए नहीं बनाए क्योंकि वो नॉर्मली नजर नहीं आते हैं, जो विजुअल है वही दिखता है। अब आप यही चीज को इवेल्युएट करिए आपके लाइफ में। ओके, दैट ट्री दैट यू ड्रॉन represents यू, करेक्ट? जमीन के ऊपर जो दिखता है मतलब आप आपका नॉलेज दिखेगा, आपके स्किल्स दिखेंगे, आपकी डिग्री दिखेगी, आपका ड्रेसिंग दिखेगा, ठीक है? ये सारी चीजें ऊपर दिखेंगी। पर जो रूट्स है वो क्या है? व्हाट आर द रूट्स? तो आपका फैमिली बैकग्राउंड क्या है, आपका कल्चर क्या है, ठीक है? आपके एटीट्यूड्स क्या है, आपके पेरेंट्स ने आपको क्या कंडीशनिंग दी है, क्या वैल्यूज दी है ना? So all these things are basically your roots. These are things that nourish you as a person. So today you need to start, whenever you interact with people, whenever you interact with say even the HR that is interviewing you, थोड़ा क्रिटिकली सोचिए। जो दिखता है सिर्फ उस पर मत फोकस करिए, ठीक है? जो दिखता है वो ठीक है, लेकिन यू ट्राई टू एवेल्युएट कि अगर कोई बंदा कुछ बोलता है तो क्यों बोलता है, उसका बैकग्राउंड क्या होगा, why is he behaving in a certain fashion. See if you are able to get to the roots, because that is very very critical for you to succeed in life. Okay, so the example of the tree here is not to check your artistic skills, or it is just to tell you कि हमारा जो दिमाग है वो कैसे काम करता है। हमारा दिमाग जो है वो बहुत सुपरफिशियल है, वो सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर से चीजें देखता है। बोलते हैं ना, आपने सुना होगा दिखावे की दुनिया है। ओके, so what we're trying to do here is to ensure that we do not have a superficial line of thinking. So I am not just looking at the tree, I am also looking at the roots. Okay, is it making sense? So when you think of your roots, I'll be very straight, I'll keep it very simple. You should probably think of all the important people that play a part in your life. It could be your parents, it could be your siblings, it could be your friends, it could be your guru, it could be your teachers, you know, it could be your boss. You know, some of you will get terrible bosses when you start working, and some of you guys might be very lucky and find somebody who, you know, truly inspires you. So who are the important people in your life, and what kind of energy do you draw from them? That's one of your roots. The other thing is, what are the things that make you happy? It could be helping your father, it could be helping your mother in the kitchen, it could be collecting something, it could be playing something, it could be so many things that you do, right, which make you feel happy. Very important. Okay, your experiences. So today, life has put you through a lot of experiences. What you are today is a sum total of all your experiences. You should always remember all that you've experienced. Okay, see, it is very easy for us to focus on the negative, but trust me, negatives are good. हम लाइफ में सबसे ज्यादा सीखते हैं जब हमारे साथ नेगेटिव चीजें होती। अगर सब कुछ लाइफ में पॉजिटिव होने लगे तो हम कुछ सीखेंगे ही नहीं। So you need to start looking at all your experiences. There is so much, and this is not about, I'm not saying that this is about your religion. Okay, we are Indians first. So whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu, you've grown up in this country, And this country has a typical Indian culture, Indian mentality, Indian DNA. Okay, regardless of your religion, regardless of your race, right? So your Indianisms, your culture is so rich, but we don't look at it. We are trying to ape the Western culture. There are so many things that you want to do which are aspirational. The Instagrams and the Facebooks and all that. You want to look at things that are very, very Western. I would say it's not a bad thing. You should expose yourself to new cultures. You should get more knowledge. You should interact with other people. It opens your circle of influence. But you should never forget your roots. So Indianness is one of your roots. So you should be able to connect. There is so much of strength and so much of knowledge that you can draw from your Indianness. Like, for example, when I say work-life balance, things like yoga today is celebrated as something that is very, very critical for well-being, for wellness. So it's just an example. There's so many things in our culture that you can draw strength from. Okay, and that will help you deal with challenges, that will help you deal with negativity. So that is one of your roots that you should probably focus on. Your family is your support system, right? Your family probably gives you tremendous amount of resilience and strength. So I'm sure a lot of you youngsters today want to get into the corporate world, succeed, and with the kind of success that comes in the corporate world, you want the money and the affluence that comes to you. You want to take that and treat your parents, ensure that they experience a few things. Some of you people may want your parents to fly to maybe a exotic location internationally and enjoy a vacation. I'm just giving you an example. These are aspirations, right? So today your family is very, very important. So always keep your roots in mind, whatever you do. Okay, so who are you? You are all of these roots. Okay, all of these roots influence you in a certain fashion, and that is the core identity that you need to always stay connected with. Right now, coming to, we talked about a tree, but just think about this. And I said कि आज आपको जो normally जैसा हम सोचते हैं वो सोच को आपको साइड में रखना है और थोड़ा critically, you need to start thinking critically, you need to start thinking differently, out of the box, creative, right? So now let me look at how a tree actually comes into existence, right? डायरेक्ट पेड़ होता है क्या? नहीं होता है. वो धीरे धीरे, मतलब first there is a seed, right? And the seed goes in the ground. If it gets good nourishment, if it gets water, if all the conditions are good, the seed germinates, and from that the tree starts growing, right? Over a period of time, there's a lot of things that happen, right? The tree draws strength, the roots grow. When the roots grow, the deeper they go, the more nourishment they're able to pull uh, from Mother Earth. The more nourishment they're able to get, the more robust or more strong the tree becomes above the ground. Eventually, the tree grows into something that is very, very big, very beautiful. You have very good looking leaves, you have flowers, you have fruits. Okay, so now if I'm saying this, imagine this. Imagine that today when you're stepping into the corporate world, that you guys are like these seeds. Correct? The more you connect with your roots and the more energy you draw from your roots, okay, the more you will grow into something robust and strong and brilliant and beautiful, which shelters birds. Trees have a lot of use, right? बहुत काम आते हैं. मतलब, why do they say that it's very important for us to ensure that we plant trees and all that? So start thinking of yourselves as this root. If you do the right things with the right kind of nourishment, with the right kind of satsang bolte hain, with the right kind of company, right company of people who uh, give you very positive energy, who want you, support you, help you. So when you do all the right kind of things, the seed actually grows and becomes a beautiful tree. Now, if you don't give nourishment to the seed, what will happen? It will do whatever it can and grow into something that is not, the perfect tree that we all visualize. So it's very important for us to ensure that whatever we are, as today we are a seed and we're growing in this corporate world, we do the right things and nourish our soul in the right fashion, that we grow into something that is very, very beautiful and logo ke kaam aa sake, as a tree. Why am I saying this? The seed has the blueprint. So when you're a seed, you don't know. What you definitely know is that someday you will become this tree. So that same kind of blueprint exists within yourself today. A lot of you guys who are disappointed कि मैं इंटरव्यू में पास नहीं हो रहा हूँ, मैं कम्युनिकेशन स्किल स्ट्रांग नहीं है, मैं अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पाता हूँ, मुझे डर लगता है कि मैं अगर कुछ बोल दूं तो लोग मेरे को जज करेंगे. All of these fears, irrational fears that you have, what are you doing? You're ensuring that the nourishment doesn't reach the seed. You need to start believing that you are like that seed and you will grow into a beautiful tree. That potential exists in each one of you. Okay, and trust me when I say this, every individual is different. Don't compare yourself to others. आपके साथ में 4 लोग हैं, the problem with us is it's very easy for us to think negatively, and you start comparing yourself to your colleagues and peers who are very different from you, and you don't focus on what you have. What you have is unique. So you need to start believing that you are unique, and you need to start focusing on yourself, not others. Okay, there was a great psychotherapist by the name of Carl Jung, and he's done a lot of research on psychology and all that. So there was a quote. He says that anybody who looks outside sleeps, and anybody who looks inside awakens. So मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप बाहर देखो ही मत. What I'm trying to tell you is, instead of focusing on what other people have, let's look inwards and let's look at what we have and what we can make out of it. Okay, so far so good. Right, now coming to the concept of, so we've covered 2 areas that we were going to cover during the course of this conversation. The third area that we're talking about is the power of positive thinking. Okay, I'm sure that everybody has heard of Ratan Tata, such a legendary figure, such a Ratan Tata ki baat. See, India today is very polarized. Okay, some people hate Dhirubhai Ambani, some people love Dhirubhai Ambani. बहुत polarized है. Some people love Narendra Modi, some people hate him. Some people say मानना चाहिए, चाय वाला था, अभी प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया है. Some people say नहीं, fascist है, dictator है, गुजरात के riots. So we have very polarized opinions. Okay, but if you talk about Ratan Tata, there's hardly an Indian who will say that that guy is. There's hardly any Indian who does not love this person. Okay, so I would say look at somebody like Ratan Tata. अभी जब ये हमारा इंटरेक्शन खत्म हो जाएगा, आप लोग रिसर्च करिए. I'll give you a very simple this thing. Research on successful businessmen who failed miserably in their first attempt. Okay, and you will be surprised at the kind of names that you see in that list. Ratan Tata is there. If you guys are engineers, then you probably have heard of Thomas Alva Edison. He was a big failure before he succeeded. There's Narayan Murthy, Infosys. तो आपको अंदाजा हो जाएगा कि Today, these people are very successful. Everybody talks about them. Ritesh Agarwal, Oyo. Everybody talks about them today. Okay, but initially when they started out, उनको बहुत ठोकर खानी पड़ी थी. They had to access failure, and that failure actually they used in a very positive manner. Those failures are the reason that they're successful today. So to all the people here who feel that I am not clearing interviews, मतलब जो नेगेटिविटी आपने बिल्ड कर रखी है, आई एम सेइंग कि सबसे पहले तो डोंट फील बैड. Okay, use this in a very positive fashion. This is teaching you something. Okay, all the failures in your life actually teach you something very, very valuable. You need to get up and start walking again. Okay, the power of positive thinking. Why is it important for you to think positively? Because I'll tell you how it works. In 2018, there was no corona. We didn't know. All of us were very happily in our bubble. कि लाइफ चल रहा है, मेरे को ये करना है, मेरे को वो करना है. मैंने प्लानिंग, I'd made plans that I would do. I would probably go watch the World Cup, uh, maybe the Euros. All these plans we had made, and then Corona happened. And when Corona happened, everybody realized कि यार मेरे कंट्रोल में तो कुछ है ही नहीं. I cannot go out. Suddenly, everybody was in their houses. Suddenly, people were depressed because they could not do the things that they otherwise would do to keep them occupied. हम सब constantly भाग रहे हैं. We are escaping reality, all of us, in various ways. So suddenly, Corona के वजह से we had to stop and look in the mirror. So Corona taught us something. Yes, a lot of people in our circle who probably contracted Corona. A lot of, a couple of my very close friends passed away. When you think about all that, yes, it's a tragedy. It's very sad. So many lives were lost. But if you actually look at it, it taught us something very, very invaluable, that we should not be living too far ahead in the future. Anything can happen. So today I might be sitting in this chair and I might just die. Okay, so all the mehnat and all the dreams and all the things that I was chasing suddenly become a big zero. So it's very important. Corona has taught us what? See, because of Corona today, there's a robust. पहले masks का कोई value होता था? नहीं होता था. अभी एक industry बन गई है mask. Oxygen, we didn't probably think it was very important. Now you look at it, it's because of the kind of emergencies that happened in India. We realized that we didn't learn from the first wave, and we were caught with our pants down in the second wave. So you realize that all of these things that happen, they actually are trying to teach you something. So you need to take everything with a pinch of salt. अगर कुछ गलत भी होता है तो वो आपको कुछ सिखाने के लिए होता है. उस चीज को आप ऑब्सेसिव मैनर में उसको पकड़ के अगर आप बैठे रहेंगे तो आप बैठे ही रहोगे. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू स्टार्ट मूविंग आउट ऑफ योर कंफर्ट जोन. द मोर यू पुश योर सेल्फ, okay, the more you will achieve. Now, to give you a very simple example, I'll give you a small activity that I did with my students. Now this is something new. This is probably the first session that I'm conducting over Zoom with so many uh, students in the audience. What I normally do is I walk into a classroom, and similar to what we did today, I make a surprise announcement saying that we are going to have a surprise examination. Most of the students are petrified or surprised. The surprise examination, okay, सबसे पहले हम नेगेटिव ही सोचते हैं. तो everybody thinks अरे बाप रे अभी क्या. Then I hand over a sheet of paper to everybody, okay, and then I give them very clear instructions, and then I say, okay, now flip the page. When they flip the page, they don't see any questions. There are no questions. What do they see? They see a blank piece of paper with a big dot in the center, okay, and my instructions to them are, describe what you see. Now, most of them are surprised. Most of them don't know what to do. Most of them say, ये क्या है, मतलब पागल आदमी है, एक डॉट दिया है पेपर में और पूछ रहा है कि डिस्क्राइब करो. So some people describe the dot. Some people describe the dimensions of the dot. Some people describe it's circular. Some people say center में है, इतना ये है, वो है. Most of them do not write anything about the free space around the dot. Most of them. Some of them do, just like the roots thing. Okay. So what am I coming to? I'm coming to the point that today in our life is like that sheet of paper. Okay. And some of the bad experiences that we've had are like that dot. So हमारी mentality ऐसे हो गई है कि वो dot को ही हम पकड़ के बैठते हैं. We fail to look at what surrounds the dot, the empty space around the dot, right? So the simple point here that I'm trying to make is it's very easy for us to focus on the negatives in life, right? And not look at all the positives that we have. So what I want you to do is look at your life, look at all the positive things you have, look at all the blessings. You're healthy, right? You have good family support, you have good friends, you're getting 2-3 square meals a day. Look at the blessings. मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि आप don't be ambitious, don't. Money is not a bad thing. Money is very important. But what I'm trying to say is that be grateful that today life is treating you very kindly. Look at the amount of poverty that you will probably see around you. There are a lot of people who don't have the kind of privileges that you probably have. Okay. See, today there's a lot of negativity that you're probably holding on to. There's a lot of worry, anxiety that I'm not clearing interviews. आगे क्या होगा? मेरे को job मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा? Trust me, after 10 years, when you look back, you will laugh at, बोला मैं कैसे सोचता था यार? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. So it's very important for you to start focusing on all the positives that are there around you. Trust me, when you are positive, you send out positive vibes. When you send out positive vibes, you get positive vibes in return. Okay. So with that small example, I would probably want to bring this session to a close. And to sum up everything that we've discussed, the only thing I want to tell you is do not worry or do not be anxious. Okay. Do not let negativity fester inside you. This is just a phase. All the challenges that you're facing in terms of getting a job, landing a job, corona happening, there are no jobs in the market, etc., etc. This is just a phase. It will pass. But this phase will teach you something that will be very, very precious for you in the future. Right? So with that, I bring this session to a close. And I'll be more than happy to take questions. So I don't know, Vikas, how would you like to probably?
Thanks, Papi. I think we already have two questions from the participants.
Yes, sir. There are questions.
Papi, there's a student named Vijay Pawar who says, as a student, we are always struggling with one question. That is, should we be technically strong or practically strong in the IT industry?
What do you mean by practically strong? Practically strong is you're saying see, knowledge is useless if you cannot apply it. Right? So if you're technically strong, you're only that strong as much as that technical knowledge that you can apply. If you can't apply that technical knowledge, then that's not really strength. Right? So knowledge, according to me, is useless if you don't know how to apply it. And this is the problem with our education system. Okay, they will teach you from the cognitive part. Cognitive बोलो तो दिमाग, सिर्फ दिमाग. तो मैं रटता हूँ, फॉर्मूले रटता हूँ, पैसेजेस रटता हूँ, डेफिनेशंस रटता हूँ, लेकिन मेरे को प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन में पता नहीं है. एवरीबडी, आई नो द डेफिनेशन ऑफ एंट्रोपी, बट आई डोंट नो हाउ प्रैक्टिकली एंट्रोपी होती क्या है, मेरे को पता नहीं है. मैंने बस वो डेफिनेशन जो बोलते हैं ना पोपट के जैसा मैंने रटा है बस. तो it's definitely more important for you if you're technically strong, then you need to test how strong you are technically by seeing how much of that technical knowledge you're able to apply practically. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Hobby, another question that we have from a student named Shankar says sometimes the company selects us but change the domain or technology which is not familiar to us. How to handle that kind of situation?
Okay. So Shankar, before Corona happened, there was a certain way in which you lived your life, right? And suddenly Corona happened, and they said that you have to wear a mask. They said you had to sanitize your hands. पहले तो मैं दिन में शायद 2 दिन में मैं एक बार नहाता था. कोरोना के बाद सडनली मैं दिन में 3 बार नहा रहा हूँ. So what has happened here? An external factor so big that you cannot control has impacted or has affected you in such a manner that you've had to make adjustments to the way that you live your life. ठीक है? जब तक आप लोग जॉब वाले मेंटालिटी में हो, you will have to constantly make adjustments, make compromises. Why? Because the company is bigger than you and they will always find ways and means to be flexible. So today they will hire you because you're a software engineer and you've probably worked on C++. But because they have a project on some other language, they'll ensure that they probably put you there. And you know, they're just trying to do their best to manage their resources. Okay, this will totally depend on what your attitude is, what your outlook is. मेरे हिसाब से तो शंकर, you should be prepared. ठीक है, be open minded. अगर कंपनी आपको, आपने कोई एक स्किल सेट में आपकी एक्सपर्टीज है और कंपनी इज यूजिंग, वांटिंग टू यूज यू फॉर अनदर skill set, look at the positives. There's one more skill set that you can add to your current skill sets, right? That has market value. The other thing is you're going to learn something new, right? Number 3 is you still have a job, right? And if you go in with an open attitude, you will not only pick up a new skill set, but that new skill set will add value to your CV, which means that when you go out in the market, there are, today you just know one particular language, but after this experience, when you go out, you will probably know 2 or 3 languages, and that will increase the value that you have in the market. So be positive and always look at things or setbacks as an opportunity, not as something that is negative. Look at it as an opportunity. I hope that answers your question.
Abhi, one last question we'll take before we conclude the session. There is Vinayak Shinde who says sometimes during interview they give us positive feedback, but after some days we know that we are not selected. How to handle such kind of situation?
Okay. Vinod, right? Vinayak. Okay. So, Vinayak, imagine a scenario कि you are in HR, okay, and you interview around 500 people for one position, correct? You will be nice to everybody, you know, because ये तो हमको हमारी कंडीशनिंग है, हमारे कल्चर ने हमको सिखाया है कि you know you have to be nice and polite to everybody. So the HR is just doing his job. He's being nice to you. It does not mean that you have the job. HR ने मेरे से अच्छे से बात किया तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि मेरे को जॉब मिल गई. Okay, so you need to calibrate and you need to understand कि सामने वाला अच्छे से बात कर रहा है इसका ये मतलब नहीं है. दिस इज द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड, दिस इज द एडजस्टमेंट दैट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट अर्लियर, कि सारे के सारे लोग डिप्लोमेटिक होते हैं. एंड यू शुड नॉट बिलीव एनीथिंग टिल यू हैव द अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर इन योर हैंड. Okay, most people will be very nice and they will say things because they don't want to behave in a bad fashion, right? They don't want to look bad in front of you. They don't want to give you feedback. Some people might say कि यार वो बहुत अच्छा लड़का है यार, मैं उसको कैसे बोलूं कि तू सिलेक्ट नहीं हुआ है. So they probably will just come and tell you यार तेरा performance बहुत अच्छा था, we will evaluate it, we'll let you know. Okay, so I am saying you need to calibrate your thought process. Just because सामने वाला बंदा या बंदी मेरे से अच्छे से बात कर रहे हैं और मेरे को बोला है कि तेरा बहुत अच्छा पॉजिटिव है, ये है वो है, don't believe anything till you have your offer letter in hand. Remember this in the corporate world. Okay, बोल बच्चन पे कभी आपने आंख बंद करके विश्वास नहीं करना है. But everything needs to be documented. All communication needs to be documented. ये emails और trail mails और ये सारी चीजें आपने सुनी है ना. Why is that important today? Because in the corporate world you need proof. I hope that answers it.
Thanks, Obi. I think it's almost 1 hour 20 minutes, and we can wrap it up. What we can ask the students is, I am posting my personal LinkedIn profile and the company profile. If you have any questions which we cannot answer here, you can message me on my LinkedIn post. I will try and probably answer most of your questions, if not all.
Wonderful.
I think with that we can wrap up the session. Because thanks to
Yes,
you
sir.
and the Vibrant Mind team for arranging this session. I hope we can do. We will announce the next sessions through you and on our LinkedIn profile. Every 15 days, as I mentioned, we will have one session where we would try and address some of the points. So, students, you can put your questions. As I said, if I cannot answer them, I would take that as the topic for the next session that we will have. So, thanks, Vikas. Thanks once again.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Mr. Hobby. It was wonderful session.
Thank you.
Our students, of course, they will start thinking positively. I think now they might have understood what is the importance of the positive thinking, and it will help them to get a success in their career. Okay, so thank you so much for your valuable guidance. Thank you so much, Aloysius sir, for giving this opportunity once again. To thank you to Gravitasq team, Gravitasq Stories team, and thank you all participants.
Yeah, I
Because
would
of
like
you.
to specifically thank each and every person who attended this. And
Yes, sir.
like Aloysius mentioned, if you have questions, if you think you need some kind of guidance, we are at your service. We are not doing this uh, for any monetary benefit. We're doing this because we genuinely believe that these guys are the future of our country. And tomorrow, if India needs to be on the top, it is these guys who are going to lead us there. So it's very important for us to ensure that they are happy and they do what they do. And there's a generational change and progress and affluence that comes to our country. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Vikas.